What's good, guys? Welcome back to my Systems, Philosophy, and Mental Models course. I am Nate Rose with AI for Indies, and today's lesson is on the end goal, full creative entrepreneurial mode, where your ideas move almost as fast as you can think of them. Let's get right into it. So what does the 90-day version of this actually look like? Not the fully optimized version, not the one where everything runs itself and you just show up and create. The first version, the one that's actually within reach in the next 3 months, the one that's built around work that you already do. Well, I can tell you what mine looks like because I built it, and most of it was not complex. It just required me to stop running on default. When I started producing seriously, finishing a song from idea to final master took me roughly 20 hours. That's the full arc. Writing, recording, production decisions, mixing, all the post-production back and forth, 20 hours, start to release ready. Now, I do that now in about 6 hours. The biggest lever was a master session template, a pre-built DAW session with every channel strip, every bus, every routing decision already made before I even hit record. The session opens ready. I'm not building anything from scratch. I don't make structural decisions in the middle of a creative flow. I don't lose the idea because I'm spending 45 minutes setting up. The decision about how the session is structured was made once, when I was thinking clearly and not mid-inspiration. It doesn't get made again. I even have a good starting point for where the levels are for when I record the vocals and how that relates to the beat. I have all sorts of potential instruments that I might use, etc. So this thing is just totally full to my preferences. Now, on top of that, I have a custom production GPT that knows my entire setup. Every plugin I own, every piece of hardware in my chain, my sound preferences, my reference artist. When I'm in a session and I know what I want a sound to do, but I can't quite get there, I ask it. It tells me which plugins, which setting, roughly where to start. I don't open 12 browser tabs. I don't spend 2 hours experimenting my way towards the answer. I get to the sound and I stay in the creative state. And the final piece is I use Creator Sanctuary, a project management dashboard that I built in Notion for indie artists. At all times, I know what I'm working on, where each project is in terms of completion, and who's on it. That is not just organization, it's one less recurring decision pulling me out of the work every time I sit down. Also, the goal isn't 6 hours forever. The goal is eventually 2. At that point, the only bottleneck left is whether the idea is any good and how quickly my creative thinking moves. The execution becomes near instantaneous, and that's my target. I'm still building towards it. It's not just the creation layer that changes. I have a goals and projects dashboard in Notion that externalizes everything I'm working on and how it connects to what I'm actually trying to build. I don't carry that in my head anymore. When I sit down to work, I don't spend 20 minutes reconstructing my priorities. I simply open the dashboard. The question, what am I working on and why, is already answered. I reorganize my inbox so that different types of emails auto-sort to the right place. I'm not scanning through everything to find what matters. The triage happens before I even open it. For messages that I send often, like responses on Instagram, follow-ups by email, I've developed templates. They're not formal, canned responses, just starting points based on the type of questions I get on repeat. The first draft is already written, and then I can customize from there. What used to be a thinking task then becomes just an editing task. And I use voice to text for almost everything now. I use an app called Whisperflow, and anything that I would normally type, I just say. Now, this one sounds minor, but it's not. The friction between a thought and written output becomes almost nothing. Now, none of these are sophisticated. None of them took months to build. They're just intentional. Each one replaced a recurring decision I used to make manually, and together they changed what a working day actually feels like. Okay, so you already know what to build first. You have the audit, you've got the list. What I want you to take into the next module is an understanding of what you're building towards, not just a more efficient workflow, but it's a different relationship with your own time and attention. When the operational layer is handled, you're gonna stop spending your best thinking on work that doesn't need it. The budget rises to the surface. The creative decisions, the strategic ones, the ones that actually compound, they get made with a full tank instead of a depleted one. That is the difference between survival mode and creative entrepreneurial mode. It's not just a personality type or a level of success. It's a structural condition, and it's closer than it looks. Thank you guys for tuning in. In this next module, we're gonna be talking about the high agency generalist. Also, if you wanna hear me yap about some more stuff, you can join our Skool community at AI for Indies. I actually show some of the workflows that I actually use on a regular basis and how that looks, and that might give you some additional ideas on how you can implement these things into your own workflow. So we'll see you over there. Peace.